The interesting thing about the internet is how it creates space for new ideas. Some brilliant, some bizarre. And gaming has been impacted just as much by the internet as anything else. Not only could indie developers finally have the ability to widely publish their work and have space to breathe fresh life into otherwise formulaic and dead genres, but new genres were also pioneered, including one that people would argue whether or not really should be classified as a game at all: idle gaming. Idle gaming, also known as incremental games or clicker games, is one of those weird concepts that really couldn't thrive in any other era but now, and yet its impact is still sizable. Having a game that, for the most part, plays itself seems like it would take out any joy from the actual art of gaming. Yet here I am, keeping my laptop on for long hours as I play Cookie Clicker. That's right, you still haven't gotten that Uncharted 4 video because I've been playing Cookie Clicker for the past month. I'm really sorry. But what about idle gaming is so addictive? It's not like Cookie Clicker is the only example, though it is one of the most popular. But there are actually some rather ingenious concepts that keep people involved, which says a lot about human psychology and what it means to be something that is engaging. For those of you who don't know, the concept of Cookie Clicker is pretty simple. You got a cookie on your left. You click it, you get a cookie. You click it again, you get another cookie. It's kind of like when you were in school and you'd press 1 + 1 == on your calculator to see how high the number would go up. Or was that only my friends and I who did that? But if that's all it was, the novelty would wear pretty thin pretty fast. Instead, Cookie Clicker introduces a store that's whole purpose is to make getting cookies easier and faster. Oh, what's that? You got 100 cookies? Well, you can use those cookies to hire a nice grandma that will bake an additional 1 cookie per second. I mean, look how cute she is. And the more things cost in the store, the more they will help you. There are also items which you can buy that make the things you already own more effective, whether it being each click is worth more cookies, or making those grannies diversified cookie making machines. But this all eventually leads to a place where you have so many items making so many cookies that you no longer really need to click on the cookie anymore. You can be making billions or trillions or quadrillions of cookies a second in your sleep. Part of this is satisfying. There is a sense of achievement to see that what was once so much work, like clicking 100 times to buy a grandma, for example, becomes an absolute breeze. It also makes sense why this is often called idle gaming. You can seriously just leave the game open on a tab on your computer as you do something else, and it's still working. But again, if all the game was a number counter with a multiplier, it would again grow pretty stale, like all those cookies in the back of your pantry. This is why the title incremental gaming is so apt, and I think does the genre more justice. The game is not just about getting to play a game that plays itself. The real draw of this game is accessibility mixed with goal setting. While eventually grandmas and farms and mines become a breeze to acquire, you're always trying to unlock the next set of items. What's that? A time machine that brings cookies back from the past before they were ever eaten and gives me over 1 billion cookies per second? How could this be any better? But wait, the next item is worth a couple trillion cookies to find out how much it even makes? It must be so much more worth it to achieve that. You're always trying to get to the next goal. Plus, it would be easy to think that you should just neglect the old items in favor of gaining the new ones because that would bring you the most cookies. And while, yes, a chance maker will bring you far more than a farm ever will, upgrades and buying certain numbers of each item unlocks more abilities to, guess it, make more cookies. You can decide whether to put 1 trillion cookies towards some new farms or should you hold out for a portal. There's actually a nice balance of resource management in this game. Everything helps you, but you want to prioritize what would best help you in that moment. This also keeps you involved in the game and not just letting it rot away on some forgotten computer tab. In addition to resource management, another way the game keeps you involved on the page is golden cookies. Every once in a while, a golden cookie will appear on a random spot on your screen that you will have to physically click in order to get bonus cookies. These golden cookies are absolutely worth waiting for. Many multiply your cookies per second by large quantities for a limited time. You can also buy upgrades to make these golden cookies appear more often and last for a longer period of time. It eventually gets to this point where you can have multiple golden cookie effects going on at the same time, increasing your numbers exponentially to help you get closer to that next goal. They aren't necessary to the game, but they help speed things up so much that it's worth keeping the game in front of your face. The game also has achievements, which helps the game feel like something is always happening. They have cute little quirky titles, and that inspires the completionist to still keep going. Not only are they just fun rewards, but for every 25 you unlock, you get, you guessed it, more cookies per second. It's a never-ending cycle, and I understand it's not that deep. But also, many of these clicker games, and especially Cookie Clicker, has just a ton of character. From the silly and somewhat apocalyptic news stories to the bizarre types of upgrades you can buy, this game just has that classic charm that belongs in the era of Newgrounds, early YouTube, and the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob. While I definitely don't expect Cookie Clicker to withstand the tests of time, and it definitely is not going to be on gaming's best video games of 2013, it's amazing to really see what kind of experiences engage the human mind. Incremental gaming keeps the player just involved enough to feel that the victories are theirs, much like pulling on a lever on a slot machine and believing you did anything to help that outcome. Yet the constant progression and goals always makes the player desire the next step and aim to achieve what before looked impossible. It can take as much or little time as you wish to give it, and you can play it for however long you want, an eternity if you wish. Again, while the genre isn't necessarily deep, and many other games quickly start to feel like carbon copies of each other, it's still an important genre to talk about. What does it mean to be a game? What should be a game's purpose? What does it mean to have fun? At least I can say I have thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Cookie Clicker. Now, I promise I will go be more productive. This has been The Girl with the Controller, and I hope you have a lovely day.